Jemele, everybody is telling me, everyone at Meadowlark Media, every producer I have, every business person, don't do this. Don't go live on YouTube right now against Inside the NBA and college basketball. Don't do it. It's an idiot. It's an old person move. But I had to break into programming my evening. I was making my wife a bath. I had to break in to talk to Jemele and Amin, and I do it. It's salts, it's bubbles, it's lovely. I had to interrupt it because I knew Jemele and Amin would have 1,000 things to say about all the things that happened when we went off the air today at noon. And all of a sudden, Stephen A is tweeting. Stephen A, who I love. All of us love Stephen A, correct?
I love everybody, Dan. I love Stephen A. I love LeBron.
Okay, wait a minute.
I love Perk.
I see we're off already. Okay.
I love.
Wait a minute. All right. So I felt, Jemele, here's why I wanted to do this, because I felt like Amin had 1,000 things to say that we never got to in beloved protection of his sport. And I had 1,000 things that my people don't want to hear me say anymore about how much I care about journalism and doing Stephen A stuff. But I did see what happened to you and Michael at ESPN, and I really wanted that to win. And to see this winning right now is magical and amazing. It is Stephen A. Smith is the most amazing story in the history of sports media, but he's gone off the deep end on this one.
He's crashing out. I have to say, Dan, listen, I don't really, and by the way, I was able to catch some of what you guys, the conversation you had earlier, particularly as Amin has put on his cape and is like, we must protect the NBA at all costs.
Pathetic.
It was like, I mean, come on, man. But anyway, I watched, for a sec. I have to be honest, I usually don't really, watch it. Because I'm a fossil and an auntie at the same time, I watch the local news. So I want to know what's happening in my community. So I watch the LA local news to figure out what's going on.
Dying, we're all doomed.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of basically the impression that I get, but at least I want to know how close I am to death and how close it is to surrounding me. So, but this morning,
WPLG in Miami just closed. ABC just left after 79 years in Miami, a news gathering organization that has protected my corrupt community. It's infuriating what's happened to local news. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
But that's part of the reason why I support and watch it. But this morning I made sure that I was watching First Take, as a lot of people, I'm sure, had that same reaction. And just from a skill standpoint, let's break this down like this with film. Like we were breaking down whether or not somebody had good defensive footwork, post-up moves, whether or not they did a great drop step. It is hard to talk for 20 unfiltered minutes without taking a breath, but he did it. And I was like, I was sitting there like I was watching the fucking Olympics. I was like, this is an unprecedented performance in broadcast journalism.
But wait, Jemele, this is the part. I mean, I want to get your serious thoughts in protection of the sport. And I want to say on the front end, because I really do have to say this, I really admire the journalist Stephen A. has been his entire life, and his evolution, and as a conqueror, and as somebody who now feels like he should be on the side of the stage fighting LeBron, because you remember when Shannon wanted to fight the Grizzlies, because that's where we are. Like that's and so he's sitting next to Larry David and he's talking about president, and we know this magical ego has been fed in wonderful ways that make it so that now he's been, look, I say this as gently as I can say it because I really do like this man, and I haven't talked to him recently, but I feel like he's been imagining in his head for days what he woulda, coulda, shoulda done in that scenario instead of just talk when LeBron was confronting him. And I want to talk to him about that. I feel uncomfortable talking about it too much without having talked about it, but talk to him about it. But this tweet here today, when we're trying not to make this personal and we go to the Kobe funeral on, like, this is a war of words at the top of ego, because all of the things that these two men have been for the last 20 years covering the sport, all of the ego of it is now making great television for ESPN. but hurting Amin's feelings because the NBA is all about storylines and bullshit and drama and beef, and nobody cares that OKC and Denver would be kind of a great series.
Listen, Dan, I mean, when I heard you guys talk about it earlier, and I have to say, I mean, I'm sorry, but I do side with Dan, and I too, who am sitting here, I guess, drinking from the tit of this story, if you want to, if you want to call it that. It's like I did an hour-long YouTube live on my own YouTube channel, and you know, it feels like LeBron lost the plot here. He may be right on ceremony. I understand that. But to me, ESPN won in every possible way. Stephen A won in every possible way, not necessarily with words or with credibility or, you know, sort of if you want to look at this from things that matter. But he handed them, it's like LeBron was on the break. No, actually, let me reverse this. It's like when he and D Wade had that infamous alley-oop. But in this case, LeBron is D Wade throwing it back to himself. It's like that's what he threw to ESPN. He gave them the lob, and Stephen A is the one standing there like this. He gave him a lob. He gave the network a lob. That is unbelievable. You're the biggest fucking star in the NBA, and you decide to go on their network on Pat McAfee's show, and I get the petty. I can be a petty motherfucker. I understand the petty of doing this. I get it. However, that being said, you just proved to ESPN why Stephen A is worth $100+ million or whatever is the money they're paying him. Because underpaid.
I'm here to tell you, I'm underpaid.
You're not wrong.
Jemele,
you're not wrong.
Jemele, the things that have happened in this business, like McAfee and we were underpaid at ESPN, and DraftKings has said, no, you're not underpaid anymore. Go make shit. Like go do cool shit. And we're worth almost as much as Stephen A. And we're not worth almost as much as Stephen A. Because Stephen A is underpaid. If he's making what McAfee's making, he's underpaid because over the last many years, he's built the entire place over the last 10 years.
Dan, I couldn't even think of a star big enough. I could have called them 22 bitches and they would have never gone on the network and come down to my competitive friendly rival show and sat there for hours giving them the interview of the lifetime. That's how valuable Stephen A is. That's how valuable. Like there's nothing I could have said about any superstar that has existed presently, that's dead, that's coming to the future, that would have gotten them to do this.
So, I mean, I missed this today, and you called me rightly naive. I missed the petty in this, and I also missed. You could have unspooled an hour of great on all of this, but I feel like it's gotten even better. I'm going to put this tweet up there again because I can't believe that like this. He went on television and said that Kobe Bryant's funeral wasn't something that he actually did it the way Billy would. I've never said before that he didn't attend Kobe's funeral as if he hadn't made it personal. And now, so this mistake and this apology, just take me through this.
I mean, you want to take this one?
So I think what we're missing is the original statement, which is that's what makes it funny, which is he said, I never brought up once that you didn't go to Kobe's memorial. I never brought up once that you missed Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame ceremony. So he's saying, look, I'm not going to talk about it, but by mentioning it, I'm not going to mention that you're mentioning it. So he comes back here and said, my apologies and clarification. And that's key here because it's like, y'all think I'm about to like take the L? No. I will find a way out of this. I'm going to apologize, but I'll find a way out of this. I misspoke in hour 1 of First Take today when I intimated that LeBron did not attend Kobe Bryant's memorial. So I misspoke. Not I made a mistake, not I was wrong, not I was incorrect. And not that I said it, I intimated. Right? I never said it. He's true. He said, I didn't say that.
Hold on. Let me play that video. Okay. I want to play that video for the people so that
James
you can just watch it for yourself.
Continue to cover the sport, or he wants to have a problem with me continuously cover the sport. I suggest that he be happy with the things that I haven't brought up. I never brought up really and never really discussed why you were not at Kobe Bryant's memorial service. I never really brought up or discussed why you did not attend Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame induction when that man was directly responsible for you capturing a championship for the first time in your career. I brought up none of that. I didn't bring up the fact that even though when people had asked, you had alluded to what had happened tragically to your son, and thank God he's okay with his heart condition. I didn't bring up the fact that even though you couldn't go to the Hall of Fame induction of Dwayne Wade weeks earlier, you were out of the country on business. I didn't bring that up. That's your personal business, okay? But the fact is, you wasn't at the Hall of Fame induction of a brother that's going to drastically assist to you being a Hall of Famer because he helped you become the champion that you are, and he was a big brother to you. I brought up none of these things.
Except for you brought up all of these things.
I didn't know some of those things.
I didn't know any of those things. I was like, well, shit, like what happened?
You didn't know because he didn't bring it up. That's why. Had he brought it up, you would have known.
I guess I would have. And then, as it turns out, LeBron was indeed at Kobe Bryant's memorial.
That's not great.
That's not good. It's not good to say that. And he made it sound so nefarious, though. Like, did I tell? There was some reason that we don't know why he was conspicuously absent from these things.
We could throw that tweet back up on the screen. Yeah. So, and he said, I corrected myself in hour 2 when I acknowledged he was indeed in attendance. My mistake. Should not have even broached that subject. And so it sounds like, okay, so here's our apology. He's backing above it, but then he comes back. It was not my main point. I retract nothing else that I said. Have a nice day.
It's like, no,
it's like
I don't retract it.
Land this plane. All right, cool. I'm sorry. I messed up. No, take it back off.
Lest you think I'm willing to take the L here, I take back nothing else. See me tomorrow on First Take.
That's right.
So this is the part where both of you guys seem to fundamentally be missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad for ESPN. I'm not saying it's bad for Stephen A. I'm not even saying it's bad for LeBron. I'm saying it's bad for basketball. It's bad for the NBA. And what I was saying on the show is that, yes, ESPN ratings are going to go great off of this. Yes, Stephen A. is earning every last dollar that he's getting paid. Yes, LeBron coming on ESPN is a great coup. And also for LeBron, it's a great petty move. All those things are yeses. I'm saying, at what point does the commissioner of basketball step in and say, you got both of you, you have to stop?
Oh, wait a minute. I mean, hold on a second, because he had quotes today saying we used to celebrate basketball. Can you just be clear on something? Because I really don't.
Soft on them.
I mean, I just don't think, man, he's so soft on him. It's because he works for LeBron. It's not the other way around. Like,
he doesn't.
No, man.
He doesn't. Dan, one day LeBron's not going to be here anymore.
Okay, understood.
Ain't 100 years.
But when the All-Star game needed more rest, Adam Silver became LeBron's administrative assistant. Like look, LeBron's the economy. LeBron's the face of the league. It's 20 years. LeBron's underpaid too.
This is first of all, there's something called collectively bargained agreement. That's what it's not the commissioner saying, I don't know how much I can pay you. They collectively bargain. You have a problem with that, go holler at CJ McCollum, holler at the Players Association. See you next time we have a CBA negotiation. When it comes to how our sport is marketed and spoken about, there's 3 constituents, right? Constituent number 1 is the players. Constituent number 2 are the organizations, so the governors or whatever you want to call them. Constituent number 3 is our media partners. Adam Silver doesn't have control over whatever shenanigans we do at Le Batard Show, or on Oddball, or on Jemele's show, or on Gil's show, or on Stack and Matt Barnes' show, or any of these other, or Jeff Teague, massive platforms, big audiences, yes, but he doesn't really have any control over us. He does have control over ESPN, Turner this year. Next year it'll be Amazon and NBC. He has control over that. And what I was getting at with David earlier was, I'm fairly sure there is in the documentation of, this is our contract of you broadcasting our games and marketing our games. XYZ cannot happen. Now,
I don't know if are you telling me that there's in the document, the biggest talent at one of our biggest media partner cannot get into a verbal altercation with our biggest superstar? Like
it'll say something like detrimental to the whatever. It's going to be vague lawyer language, and Samson probably could say it better than I. But it's not going to be specific like that. But it's going to be something
Samson,
like moral turpitude, right?
If I can stop you for a second, Samson wants to get in here. He's never invited to these things, and I want Amin's best information on this. But this is a pretty big baseball day as well. Like, do you guys want to hear anything about baseball? Like, Samson's always ready to go, but he's never invited to these things. And I feel like if we talk baseball right now, I'm like, Amin's really good on this subject, and Jemele and Amin arguing about this subject will be something that I would really enjoy because Amin gets a little precious with his beloved basketball in a way that's not journalistic. Like, you do, you want to protect your beloved, but Amin, you love it. You love it more than we do. You love it in a way.
Sure.
that no, but I'm saying you love it more than me and Jemele and Stephen A. Smith. We love one thing over here, and we also love sports. But you love basketball for real more than any of us.
Yes. Although David might argue. He's going to say that, oh, no. His wheelhouse.
I love basketball, but it's opening day. And I thought when Dan called to say we're doing this, I thought for sure you were going to talk about the new Oriole player, Tyler O'Neill, hitting a home run for his 6th straight opening day, breaking a record. I thought you'd talk about Juan Soto having a chance to win the game and not. I thought you'd talk about Devin Williams having a chance to blow a save and didn't. Or maybe the Sweet 16 or 20 other things I'd like to talk about. But no, let's keep talking about Stephen A. Smith, who we are just feeding him exactly what he wanted. But whatever.
Why are you
need,
wearing
Dan.
a jacket?
'Cause I've been working all day. I just got off the air with another network talking baseball because it's opening day.
So this happened to me in the highly questionable kitchen in Hialeah. It's like a refrigerator from the 1950s. And I keep asking my producer, why am I wearing a sports coat? My dad is doing this show in his second language, and he doesn't know anything about sports. Credibility. That's what we have now. Where it comes, I put the sports in sports coat. Why?
Like hoodies.
Like, think about why are people on television wearing coats? Explain it. Why are people on sports television? Look, this is how human beings dress, and this is how a corporate greedy monster dressed.
I'd come on naked for the opportunity to talk about baseball if you'd like.
A-Rod one time freaked out the Boston Red Sox who were trying to sign him because at midnight in his hotel room he answered the door in a suit and tie.
What?
Yes.
Don't knock A-Rod. He made the best business deal of anyone in the last decade when he got the Timberwolves for $1.5 billion. In the last decade. He didn't buy the Marlins, smart guy. He didn't buy the Mets with J-Lo, smart guy.
Oh, well, listen to this. You should look. I don't want to hear from Samson on much of anything baseball related, but good Lord, I can't even imagine how much he delighted in the fact that he got $1.2 billion for the Marlins, and they just got valued at $1 billion because look at him. Look at the smile on his face. Look at the smile on his face because he's a thief.
7 years ago.
He's a thief.
8 years ago.
Look at him.
You can't be a thief when you sell to someone who wants to buy. What are you talking about? No, that's not thievery. It's not even scumbaggery. It's just doing business. And it's just taking advantage of Derek Jeter because who can't? Anybody.
Okay, so hold on a second, though. But, like, what's going on? Get him out of here for a while. I don't want to talk to him for a while. I mean, take him down. Take him down. Hold on. I just want to I want to play for you guys this because this is just wonderful, okay? I know we're talking about this. And I mean, I really do want your serious stuff on this because it's passionate, you care, and you don't like what's happening. And Jemele and I don't like what's happening to journalism in general, or if we're being honest, journalism there, but we can't say it without sounding bitter and getting aggregated and being assholes when, yeah, like we can't do it. But let's play the clip of what this argument is about because, look, man, you guys can help me with this. And Jemele, you most of all, when we talk about don't make it personal, and how the athletes don't want you to make it personal, but we slide the line all along the line, and Stephen A's got to stay ahead of everybody else. And now you're going after Bronny, and of course we can criticize Bronny, but LeBron, you're getting him mad because you're calling him a father, and we can talk about personal stuff there. But what this is really about, Stephen A thinks, is the most amazing thing, because This is 14-year-olds arguing about stuff. I will not ever say you're the best. You will only be the second best. And I will fight you over it. Like, listen to this sound. It's ridiculous.
And all of this other stuff from a decade ago with 2 torn rotator cuffs. Fine, no problem. It's very, very embarrassing video. I'll be the first to say and all that stuff, even though I like it to be left up there. Because if people think I want to throw hands like that, that's how I throw hands, knock yourself out. I'm good with it. I know that the man I am today is not the man that I was a decade ago, physically or beyond. I can tell you that. So we get that out the way. Why do I bring that up? Because that's how petty you've become. You're LeBron James. You that butthurt over the things that I'm saying, that you would post that video. When has LeBron James ever done something like that? But suddenly you're doing that as it pertains to me. This man is in his feelings. I wonder why. Could it be because I don't believe you're the GOAT? Because I'll never believe you're the GOAT? Because I have you number 2 at all times? Do I have to have ESPN and First Take put up the ticker tape right now and say, yo, could you put that up there, please? Great father, great husband, great philanthropist, great businessman, great director, great producer, great host, great basketball player, great leader. I mean, my God, I have done everything but put diapers and a bib on this brother. But it ain't enough, because one thing matters to him and one thing only, and that's him being recognized as the greatest of all times. Well, you're not in my book. That belongs to Michael Jordan.
Hold on. Wait,
bring it back. Bring it back. Hold on, bring it back. Just a freeze frame. I just want to see.
I want our people to put across the screen though everything he said, because I watched that the same way you did. I'm like, holy shit, that's a great list of great things.
I was like, what?
And at the end of it, but you're only second best in the history of basketball, and that's where I got you.
It literally says everything you said.
It says
LeBron
great
James
husband, great
basketball
father,
ambassador, great husband, great father, generous philanthropist.
No, they need to say
Family
all
Foundation, I Promise School, foster positive change in the community, Hollywood power broker, great actor, clutch player, clean dad. Oh, clean
wait,
diet.
It doesn't say great actor in there, does it? Tell me.
Yes, it does.
Oh, it
great
does.
Actor, clutch player, clean diet, handsome, all around good guy.
Wow.
Jesus.
Is that everything?
Okay.
Yeah, that is
everything.
That's everything that's on that banner.
That's everything that's on there.
Way to go. Hey, that's producing First Take. That's how you do it.
That is a topic bar to be saved.
If I am to take off my basketball cape, as Jemele called it, like I'm taking my cape off and just say, from a production standpoint, this is how you bring your assault, right? This is the kind of guns that you bring. But look, this thing can escalate into a really, really, really fun war of words, in the same way that Drake and Kendrick Lamar last summer gave us for a few weeks there.
It already has. I mean, we're there already. Like we are. Look, Kendrick and Drake, they had obviously the world, but this is the platform. This is the worldwide leader in sports. Like these are and in our world, these are the personalities that would start. Like it's already escalated there. Stephen A is talking about like hitting him.
This is why I hate it. This is now put the cape back on, Jemele. This is why I hate it. Like I hate that it's allowed. They are allowed to hijack our sport. They are allowed to do this. Stephen A. and LeBron. They should not be allowed. Because again, as I said earlier on the show, Stephen A. isn't Rashad McCants, where I could just say wild stuff and like there doesn't really impact LeBron's not Rashad McCants, where I can say whatever I want and there will be no ripple effects. Stephen A. isn't Amino Hassan, where again he can say things in a corner but it won't ripple across the entire internet and the world. Really, these guys have voices that are powerful. If they're the type of voices that could say something as mundane as, man, I hate Reese's peanut butter cups, and that can impact how Reese's peanut butter cups do, right? So when you have a power like that, there's a responsibility there. I'm not saying you can't be mad at each other. I'm not saying you can't shit on each other. I'm saying when you use your public voices to do this, it helps no one. It helps absolutely no one for LeBron to not only say this and like make up shit about Brian Windhurst and say that Giannis will score 200 points. That doesn't help basketball at all. At the same time, it doesn't help basketball at all for Stephen A to be yelling out wild stuff like, "Oh, why didn't you go to Kobe's funeral? Why didn't Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame thing?" Like that's detrimental to our sport.
Jemele, that's personal. Come on, Jemele.
All of it is.
Well, but no, you guys take me over the line on where personal is and where it isn't. Like on standards.
I mean, listen, the entire "why weren't you at your boy's funeral?" like that shit was out of line. Like, period.
So out of line.
No, it was completely out of line because, for one, it turned out not to be true, and two, you're picking still at a very open wound for a lot of people, which is Kobe Bryant. And this man is no longer with us, right? And a lot of people still are grieving that. And you bring him and you drag him into this on top of giving this theatrical kind of performance about, oh, you know, you call yourself a friend, you say he's your brother, then you're questioning his friendship with Dwayne Wade. Like, it's just like, that is definitely personal. That is nothing to do with basketball. That has nothing to do with basketball analysis. He said, "You a shitty friend." That's what he said. That's basically what he said.
I mean, this would be a good time to play "Would You Attend Their Funeral" with David Samson if you guys want to play that. Like, it's a good game. No, I mean, it's like, look, man, if we have to keep pushing and pushing the boundaries, and if there are rewards for pushing and pushing the boundaries, then of course the partnership between ESPN and basketball to sell the beef, the storylines. At some point, Stephen A is going to be on Inside the NBA with Charles Barkley.
Is he?
Can
Is he? I was about to say, I don't know.
Well, John Skipper has predicted on Pablo Torre Finds Out that all of those things are going to merge in the future. And I'd like to see Barkley do that because I don't think Barkley wants to work for ESPN.
As I understand it, Dan, they don't work for ESPN. They make a show that is licensed to ESPN. They shoot it in Atlanta.
But you're gonna have to barter between the sides.
No, you don't.
Well, okay.
No, you don't. If I'm Turner and I'm making the show that has been award-winning every year, great ratings, beating the shit out of everything y'all do at ESPN every year. You're going to tell me to bring me your people?
When Stephen A was on there shooting three-pointers poorly against Shaq, that they're all trying to introduce us to whatever this partnership is going to try to be going forward in the future.
Man,
that's what I assume.
People are friendly.
Okay, but wait. Okay, maybe. It's
not an invitation. Hold on. It's not an invitation to come sit at this table with us. This table with us, which, by the way, has for the 99% of the history of it, has had one non-basketball player sit on it. His name's Ernie Johnson or Matt Weiner or Lefko or whoever is filling in. That's it. They don't bring in the Stephen A's in that seat over there. That's their show. And before you can say anything about that show, you count the Emmys and you count the rings and you count the what do you call it? The ratings. So no, just because it's airing on ESPN doesn't mean ESPN gets to come in with their terrible production advice. Like, hey, maybe you guys should put on. Man, if y'all are so good at it, why don't you put together an NBA show that's good? They can't. There's a point, right? That's number one. Number two, and this is important, right? Like, this is for Silver, it's supposed to be a thing that he has a protective approach to it. I want to bring in David back for a second, and believe it or not, it's to ask a baseball question.
Holy shit! David is being requested. David is being requested. He's still there in a jacket.
He hasn't taken it off. David, he's got that HR meeting in an hour.
The HR meeting.
David, who
great game I'm trying to watch.
Who's the Stephen A. Smith of baseball? Like the media member who is with the biggest, most farthest reaching voice.
They would kill to have anyone even remotely close
to
Stephen A. Smith.
The
closest thing is the A-Rod Jeter feud on Fox. There is nobody because there's the MLB Network from Adnan. How about Adnan as somebody who may be the loud baseball enthusiast? That's it.
Okay, and who would be the LeBron James of baseball right now? Is it Trout? It's not Shohei.
Trout's only 34. Max Scherzer is 40.
Scherzer. like
Hall of
I guess,
Famer, first ballot,
yeah.
old, one of the greatest pitchers ever, and now decent.
Regardless of their respective reaches, could you ever see a situation where, oh, I'll tell you who the Stephen A. of baseball is? It's Mad Dog. Mad Dog, because he's got high heat, he's loud, and he's a generalist, but apparently
He
this
has
is
the roar,
his
but
wheelhouse.
not the reach. He doesn't have the reach.
Okay, but like, who's of the baseball journalists? He would be the guy, right?
Jeff Passan may be a close
Passan?
guy.
Okay.
He's sort of got that sort of roar.
Can you
and reach.
imagine any scenario where Passan or Mad Dog or Adnan or whatever would engage in a war of words with Trout or Scherzer or whoever? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in football. It doesn't happen in hockey. Are there old curmudgeons who are like, man, y'all couldn't play my era? Are there young guys who are like, man, I wish I could face Babe Ruth or Gretzky or whatever, and I'd wash it? Sure, but they exist in corners where no one's really giving a shit other than the diehards who give a shit, right? These guys.
What I'm trying to understand, Amin and
Uh-huh.
Jemele, please explain to me, when you're doing show, did you ever have accountability to anyone, any of the executives anywhere? Because I know Dan did. So I was just trying to think in my head.
I only had accountability to one, only one.
Yeah, I mean, I had
the top.
accountability to a few. You know, definitely at one point it was Norby, then it was Rob King, it was yeah, I mean, it was Marsha Keegan at one point. Like, yes,
but none of those people got in my way. Like that. That's where she got blocked up. That I didn't get blocked up.
right.
But you did get blocked up, Dan. That's the whole point.
No,
of
but not till
pirate
the
show.
end. I didn't get blocked up by those people.
So all I'm saying is that Stephen A., you talk about player empowerment. Stephen A. has greater empowerment within sports media than anyone out there in the industry. And he is trying to overtake McAfee, because we always thought McAfee was the number one empowerment when he got everything done that he got done. But Stephen A. doesn't want to take that line down. So he trumps him on the contract. And now he's doing this, all of the show. And then LeBron.
I bet you
goes
that
on
shit was
McAfee.
important too. I bet you trumping him on the contract was important. I'd be real curious actually to ask what Disney gave him in production stuff, because he's more valuable than McAfee by a lot. That's not up for dispute.
He got the ability to do it on his own. All he did in that contract is for the shows he does on ESPN. He has total freedom to do anything he wants outside of ESPN.
It's crazy, Jemele. That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's he can go on as many Fox shows as he wants to go on and dabble in politics, perhaps even run for political office at some point. He could do any of those things, which is why, like, as much as it may disgust you, I mean, that this is a real scenario that's taken place between one of the greatest players to ever play, a very popular face of a network superstar in Stephen A. Smith, and how, no, you're right, this wouldn't happen in other sports, but I don't know if other sports have these dynamics and this power play. Like Tom Brady would be theoretically who you're talking about in the NFL, right? 40-year-old, you know, obviously surefire Hall of Famer, blah, blah, blah. Look, the next thing that the next interesting thing Tom Brady says would be the first, but that's beside the point.
Right.
The reality is that there is no, because of the way NFL media is, there's no Stephen A. type of figure within that. Like, they're very popular media, like Strahan, like, but they're different.
Quick question, not to divert you, but I wonder why NFL media doesn't step out of that box, like that, even though when they have reach. I wonder why that is. Is it possible because the fucking league gets on the phone and says, "Hey, cut that shit out"?
I don't
is
think
it
that's
possible?
But
exactly
I mean, though,
the shield.
You know what?
They protect that shield.
They do protect the shield, but I mean, look who makes up the NFL media. That there's no Stephen A. in the media, meaning a journalist who's not a player. Most of them are former players. Former players protect the shield. We know this, right? And the NBA is a little more licensed because you have former players. You have Barkley, you have Kay Perkins, who will go off about players and coaches and the league shit like all the time. I get it. But part of it is that they literally do not have a non-athlete who's a journalist in a prominent position who would be doing operating and moving the way that Stephen A. is moving. Because I promise you, if they did, right?
Yeah.
That they would probably see some similar issues.
Theoretically, it's Stephen A. For
Even
NFL.
for the NFL, right?
Yeah, it would be Stephen A. for the NFL too. But but again, I don't see. You're right. Everything you said is right. But my thing is, I don't see anyone on the NFL media side stepping out of line in that way. And I don't see their players, active or retired, stepping out of line in that way.
Don't you remember what Aaron Rodgers did on McAfee? He had a whole war with Schefter.
Okay.
And he was active. And Aaron Rodgers is sort of like LeBron.
He's not in the opinion business.
But. Okay. I think that's the big thing, right? Adam Schefter is not in the opinion business. Aaron Rodgers certainly said things that were controversial and vilified and all those things. That's probably a closer comp for sure. But again, it did not turn into this is all the NFL is about. It's still kind of localized to this crazy dude who shows up every week on McAfee show. And this isn't that. This is a media member.
That's crazy to watch, by the way. You skip right over that if that's not just fucking crazy to watch.
It was crazy to watch, but what it didn't have was a media member using the entire machine at his disposal to fire back. That's the part.
Let me ask you this, Amin, then. You said for NFL, it might be Stephen A. I mean, we know he talks about football. If Stephen A. would have come after, or do you think even Stephen A. with all his power, influence, all of that, if there was a prominent NFL star, let's say Brady, let's say
Rodgers would be the guy. Yeah,
Rodgers would be the guy, but I know he loves Aaron Rodgers, right? I think that's like somebody he admires. But let's just say it was Aaron Rodgers for sake of argument. Do you think Stephen A., knowing the power of the NFL and the protect the shield, and sometimes what's understood need not be said, do you think Stephen A. would have had the gumption to go after Aaron Rodgers the way he went after LeBron?
No, I don't.
And I think it's because of the shield. I think it's because the NFL would never let it bubble up like that. And by the way, neither would David Stern. So it's funny, you talk about that. David Stern ran this ship quite differently than Adam Silver.
I'm sure you heard this though, and maybe you too, Dan. But like that was the long rumor for a while. That part of the reason that Stephen A. was not more prominent in some of the pregame coverage is because the NBA was blocking that they had particular opinions about him being a part of some of their flagship properties.
But wait a minute. Look. So David Stern ran Stan Van Gundy off all those shows. ESPN has been trying to figure out how to be inside the NBA for 15 years unsuccessfully in a way that infuriates the league because, they want to know why can't we, on the worldwide leader in sports, look, you guys can speak to this. Chemistry matters and all this stuff matters. And what ESPN has been trying to do with its coverage always has, like, what I've noticed is everyone's got like 13 seconds to do stuff. There's no room to do anything on the halftime shows because all of that is it's sold. And for some reason around the NBA broadcast, they don't have something that has so much personality that it can just unspool for 2 hours because inside the NBA is a show unlike any in the history of the league. And the standard is so high that nobody can achieve it, no matter what Stephen A. is doing.
There are a lot of reasons why inside the NBA had a fertile ground to be successful that could not have ever happened at ESPN, no matter what the talent was, no matter who the producers were. I don't want to get into that. I could, but it's not. I don't think it's interesting. I think it's way more interesting.
Like Stephen A.
Okay, I'll say okay, Stephen A.
I didn't say it all. I just presented, but I said there's reasons why that is. We're not going to talk about that. What I do want to talk about is what you said, David, is that it doesn't happen when Stern's in charge. I'll give you a great example of how Stern handles things, right? When the NBA was like the first sport to say we're going to have cameras in our locker room and we're going to show snippets from the halftime speech that the coaches give the team right before they go out, or like the pregame speech or whatever. And he announces this first to the coaches' meetings. Like they got all the NBA coaches in there. David Stern said, we're going to do this. And that's the thing. Any questions? And Scott Skiles, I could say it now because it's been reported. Scott Skiles raises his hand and he says, yeah, David, I really don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. What about the sanctity of the locker room? And he says this question very respectfully in a respectful tone. And David Stern says, that's a great question. On the one hand, we have the sanctity of the locker room. And on the other hand, we have $17 fucking billion. Sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. And then he turns and looks at the rest of the coaches and says, any more questions?
Points were made.
I'm not saying you need that guy in charge all the time. I get it, man. I like Adam. Adam's cool. Adam's the fun parent. Adam's the one that, hey, can we get McDonald's? Why not, guys? Stop off. We're going to do drive-through, get McDonald's. But sometimes you got to bring out the bad cop. And if Adam's not comfortable doing it, maybe delegate it to Mark Tatum. Maybe delegate it to Joe Dumars. You delegate it to somebody to be that heavy and to really demonstrate that power that, guys, we're not putting up with this shit. David,
I mean, there's no way any of those people you named can say that to LeBron.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just not going to happen. It's like,
got to be Adam.
But even him.
It doesn't have to be that way, but it has to be firm. And it has to, and to me, it's not an individual thing at this point. At this point, it's LeBron and Stephen A. We're going to have a meeting. LeBron, you're on the road. I don't want to.
Why do you think that Adam Silver is in charge of a disrespected LeBron James who just went on? Like, why do you think that?
Dan, the commissioner of the NBA, can pick up the phone and look at the calendar and say, where are the Lakers? They're in Chicago tonight. They're spending the night. They're going to whatever. I'm going to fly to Chicago. Stephen A., whatever you were going to be covering tonight, get your ass on a plane. You're coming to Chicago. We're going to sit down. We're going to figure this out. Not in cameras. Not on air.
We're
going to
figure this out.
You're like Chuck Schumer right now, trying to use an outdated playbook for like a brand new.
What are you fucking talking about? Adam Silver couldn't get LeBron to wear a uniform during the All-Star game when he can't get players to play hard. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
All-Star game is one thing. We're talking about something much larger than that now.
It's a disrespect to LeBron.
Okay. One second. You're missing it, guys. The leverage is LeBron wants to be an owner. The leverage is not uniforms or All-Star games. The leverage is LeBron is looking for votes at one point or another. He wants to have a team in Vegas. He wants to plan his post-career, and Adam Silver controls that with the owners. That is the hammer that Adam has. David Stern was not afraid to use that hammer. Adam Silver has not found it necessary to do so quite yet.
Hold on a second. I think
he wants to be everybody's friend.
I think my producers are telling me that a real baseball expert is somewhere backstage ready to join us here.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yes, a fucking real baseball expert. Yes,
let's go.
Yes,
tonight.
Give us some good baseball. Give us some good baseball.
Just spoke to Nolan Arenado. I mean, went deep, had a curtain call. We're supposed to get traded all offseason. Sandy Alcantara is back. How about Mackenzie Gore? 13 strikeouts, 0 walks. That's Bob Gibson type numbers. Are we feeling the heat or what, boys? Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Give me more baseball before you have to get back to your real job.
30 seconds back in this commercial break. Tyler O'Neill goes deep. Dan, Tyler O'Neill sets a record. 6 straight opening near the home run. This guy's incredible. No one's ever done that in the history of baseball.
All right, come back and join us next commercial break. Thank you for the baseball expertise. I'm
30 seconds and we're back. Okay, perfect.
I'm thankful that we've got a real baseball expert around here. Thank you, Adnan. I appreciate it.
And I'll just have you know why you are disrespecting baseball sort of slightly. I am going to the Tigers-Dodgers game tomorrow. I just want you all to know. Ring ceremony, but I don't care about those damn rings because I'm a Detroiter. So I'm going to see my Tigers, and so yes, I am contributing to the popularity of baseball, and I'm black, so it all works out.
You know you're going to get to see Yamamoto pitch tomorrow.
I do, and I'm super excited about this.
And he's pitching against Jack Flaherty, and I want to see what rings. I haven't seen them made public yet, but they'll do a whole press release with the number of diamonds and all the little fun things that they do on the rings. It's a really cool game to go to.
I really hate that I'm not going to see Scooball, but all good.
He's going right now, which I don't know if you're watching on another screen, but he had a lead and gave up a 3-run jack to Teoscar, which gave the Dodgers the lead. They're up 5-3, bottom 7, which I thought that we'd watch together. I thought this was a watch along, for crying out loud.
Watch along.
Are you hearing the false pretenses?
Believe
me. Did they lie to you?
Tuesday at Meadowlark. False pretenses, left, right, and center.
What are the things here that people are missing? Because I haven't heard a lot. You're like the only one out here who's like protecting the NBA. Like the idea that you're out here yelling, "Commissioner, do something, save me!" It's ridiculous.
Well, first of all, Dan, everyone's falling for the banana in the tailpipe, and I'm talking about people inside of basketball. The fans are the fans. They're gonna follow whatever is like juicy, salacious, or whatever. But like, I'm talking about the basketball people. Like, I watched a couple of clips of what they did when they had, Perk and all those guys on. It's like, why are we falling for this? Why are we like all going along with it? This is just how it is. And let's do this gossip thing. I just don't understand it. And to me, the most disastrous thing is, like I said, the amount of untruths that are just being thrown out left and right. Stephen A. talking about like, oh, he wasn't at the memorial service. LeBron talking about, Brian Whitehurst saying he's my acting like he's my best friend. Like, what are you talking about? And again, for those people to say those things, there's legions who will not question it. They just go along with it. And that's why I'm at a place where I'm like, someone needs to grab control of this wheel, because we're headed to oblivion.
I hate to get all meta on it or whatever, but if anything, because I we haven't even gotten further deeper into how that whole 2-hour episode of First Take went today, especially maybe my other favorite part is when Kendrick Perkins started going off about the fact that LeBron is doing the podcast with Steve Nash.
What are you talking about, Perk?
I was like, what? And then wait, and then it's like, well, did you all know? And Stephen A is like acting like he's dropping some bombshell. He's like, did you know that LeBron unfollowed Perk? And Perk is like, and I blocked him back. And I was like, oh my God, this is Andy Cohen at the Housewives.
It's so great. Everybody's
so
14.
amazing.
I love that Bronny's the most mature one here. It makes me so happy that Bronny is more mature than everybody. Can we play some of this video? I want to just show you guys some video here, and I want you to get your reaction to what's happening here, because you're talking about all of this stuff, and I want people to hear the sound for themselves.
People are blowing up my phone since the first segment of the show when I talked about him at the memorial service, okay? I didn't mean to say he wasn't in the building. I was told he was in the building. You understand? But we saw a whole bunch of players out there. We didn't see him. Why? I'll let him answer that one day if he so chooses.
Give me some more video here of the on-air correction about LeBron, because I imagine that would be backhanded. Oh, I'm sorry. That was it.
That was it. Yeah. So he said. So that was his. That was. Yeah.
That's some real expertise by me. I wasn't listening at all. I wasn't listening. I got to be honest. I wasn't listening.
You are looking live.
I wasn't. Look.
Dan, let me.
That's what happened here. That's what happened.
No, but that totally encompasses how ridiculous that correction was. That's why you didn't even know it was one. The
correction was so slathered in defensiveness and like pivoting that it didn't look like a correction. He said, I wonder why. Like, even when Perk, by the way, asked like, why is he doing it with Steve Nash or whatever, at the end of it, Stephen A was like, yeah, I know why. Or he did. Right. He had some punctuation at the end of that. It's like this.
Why did they do it on opening day? Why did he? Explain to me how that happens.
Hey, David,
that's the real question.
That's so. Again, does ESPN have rights with MLB?
There was a game at 3:00. The Yankees played the Brewers on ESPN, and right now the Dodgers are playing the Tigers.
If I'm Rob Manfred, I'm having that conversation with what's my man?
Mad Dog. He already did it, and he went on.
No, the president.
He won't go on Le Batard.
Who's the president of the of ESPN? I'm trying to.
Jimmy Pitaro.
Pitaro. Yeah. Then if I'm Rob Manfred, I'm giving a call to Pitaro. I'm like, yo, man, this is our day, and you guys ruined it with this buffoonery, and he unfollowed me. He blocked me.
To be honest, I mean, why would Jimmy Pitaro give a fuck? To be like, why?
Because they have a contract with these people. Y'all acting like they're doing them a favor.
Lame
There's
duck.
no favors.
It's a right. Like the contract is. I mean, as far as we know, like it's over. So like, why?
One more year.
One
This
more
is the
year. Like,
last
I
year.
don't care.
My last
Yeah,
thing,
it's
like,
and
all right, man.
my last thing, and I'm glad y'all brought up the Mind the Game podcast. And the one thing I will say, sharing the locker room with LeBron James, being LeBron James' teammate, being in McDonald's All-American, all that, he is one of the brightest basketball minds I've ever been around. Okay, you lose J.J. Redick, and then you go out and get Steve Nash. I would never question Steve Nash IQ or his intelligence when it comes down to the game of basketball. But Richard Jefferson just got hired as on our A team to cover the NBA Finals. He's smart as hell. Shannon Fry, who won the championship with LeBron James, who does NBA TV, he's intelligent as hell. Phil Handy, who LeBron James won 2 championships with, who's now doing his own thing, he's intelligent as hell. Hell, Draymond Green. Well, I know Draymond Green ruffled the feathers, but no one could ever question his basketball mind or his basketball IQ. He's smart as hell. So what I'm getting at is, why none of those guys, LeBron? These are your guys. Why none of those guys are on Mind the Game? And I'll leave it at that.
And so will I.
What are we doing?
But I mean, though, I mean, you could. I know I'm the neighborhood race lady. Okay, that is my title, my unofficial title or official title on this outfit. I think he was trying to say something like, "Why you with the white boys?"
No, he's like he's doing a version of "Do the Right Thing." Why ain't there no brothers on the wall? That's what he's
That's
doing.
what it felt like. Like
Oh, there it is. There it is. And he ain't wrong.
that is the "Why ain't no brothers on the wall" look.
There it is.
And by the way,
There it is.
And like Stephen A. right here, he's not like, the funny thing is, I don't even know if he actually agrees with the point or not. He's just doing the, oh, we piling on? Okay, yeah, I'll co-opt that one too.
He's like, tag me in. I got something, and I know why.
Let me play something for you guys because this. I'm sorry. Look, this.
Did we
I
just
swear-
play that?
Hold on. Yes, thank you, David. I appreciate your help. David, look. Late Night Le Batard is 3 mezcals in. All
I
right.
love this. This is my favorite version of Dan.
Thank you.
Le Batard
Thank you.
ever in
Jemele,
the
see,
history
thank
of
you.
versions of
Jemele,
Dan Le
thank you.
Batard.
Jemele, thank you. Right? Thank you. I want you guys to react to this, right? Okay, so this is because this is after 15 uninterrupted minutes on First Take. This is how the dismount ends. 15 uninterrupted minutes on, like, because Jemele, honestly, since that confrontation, you can imagine, because men are idiots, you can imagine any teenager being like, and I would have said this and I would have done that. But it's pretty shocking when LeBron confronts you in the third period of a game, and he wasn't expecting it. It was they both respect basketball so much that it was a great strategic attack by LeBron to come say something to him when nothing else could be said. Here, after 15 minutes on First Take, is the dismount.
I'm going to do my job. I'm going to call it like the hell I see it. And that's the way it has been. That is the way it is. And that is the way it is going to stay. Because bottom line, last point is this. The day he came up to me was the day my new contract was announced. So he knows, like everybody else, it's going to be a little while before I go away. I was here before he got here in 2003. And in all likelihood, I'm going to be here when he's gone. You got to deal with that, bro.
Yeah, my favorite Stephen A. Menacing
Quiet Voice?
Stephen A.
Menacing Stephen A. Yeah,
Menacing
Quiet
Stephen
Voice.
A.
You don't want to make an enemy out of me.
You don't. When he's staring down barrels, they call in our business, and he's all like, "What? What?" I love it.
I'm
I
gonna be here a
just love
while.
it. I love it.
You think
It's
LeBron's career earnings are more than Stephen A's?
slightly.
Even though athletes normally have a shorter span than people in media or non-athletes?
LeBron made more money in the first 3 years of his career than Stephen A. has made in his life. probably.
So I
Okay,
just,
and Stephen A is Howard Cosell for the modern age. Like, what are we doing there? Like, we're gonna
What's-
make Stephen A second place to LeBron on fame and power and money. Okay,
I'm saying that Stephen
Yo.
A telling us that he's going to be here long after LeBron's gone, as though that's a power play.
well,
is
no,
not
but
really,
no, but wait, no, but
he
hold on
mentioned
a
his
second.
contract. Why
Hold
would
on
he
a
do
second,
that?
though.
Shout out to Jay-Z in the chat. He said Stephen A was doing his best. Amin doing his best Stephen A impression.
Well, Jemele, have you heard? Jemele, have you heard Amin Stephen A?
I have not.
Oh, you
Yeah.
have. Oh, wait a minute.
No.
Oh, what, Jemele? Okay, look, I don't. I'm sorry to do this to you, Amin,
But not.
no, well, there's just a lot of pressure. His Stephen A. I have not heard a better Stephen A. Like, okay, let's do it
Oh,
this
they're
way.
better. They're better.
Is Jay Farrow's Stephen A. better? Is Jamie Foxx's Jamie Foxx does a
Jamie
a
Foxx's
Stephen
is not better. Jamie Foxx's is not better. Jay Farrow's is better.
I was like, I felt like Jay Farrell's was pretty good.
Yeah, Jay Farrow's is pretty good. Jamie Foxx was just, I'm gonna do a ridiculous hairline, and that's it. That was his whole.
A. Well, how is all right? So here,
Because-
like, I'm sorry to put you on the spot here.
Yeah, so like there's several Stephen A's, right? There's one, the typical Stephen A, as I always say, is he makes a point and he starts and he talks in a very, very low voice. He uses very, very a lot of times. And when he says, young brother, I will list out his whole resume. Look, he's a 2-time champion, a 3-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA. But you mean to tell me that my voice would go higher? That's Stephen A that everyone knows. But my favorite Stephen A is literally the one that my man Jay-Z in the chat said, which is yes, it's my favorite impression. It's, you don't want to make an enemy out of me. I've been here a long time. I'm gonna be here for a lot longer. You can respect that. Like when he talks like that, oh, that's the one right there. That's
Damn good.
that's the
That's
funny
pretty
one.
good.
Let's get some real baseball expertise right now. Thankfully, we've got a real baseball expert here who's very busy on a night where opening day is important to everyone in baseball who cares about baseball and they want some real expertise. Adnan Verk is right around the
All
corner here.
right.
I think. Oh, he left. He had to go because he went to a commercial break. I'm sorry. He's very busy. He's very busy tonight.
He's actually on a show. He's actually doing baseball because there's people doing college basketball and baseball.
I just called Jay Billis and asked him to talk about Florida because we've got everything going on. I'm trying to. I called Michael Smith. I called Michael Smith. Yeah, I called Steven Jackson. I called Barkley. You think he's busy? I'm calling Barkley right now.
Barkley's probably not
Can you-
busy right now.
Can you imagine being on the receiving end of the Dan text right now without any frame of reference at all? Sort of like us 3 hours ago. How does that work when Barkley gets the text? Does he just scroll through it? Does he actually read it?
I feel like
I
he
have
actually
him-
reads it.
I have him reading it and then ignoring it.
I mean, maybe, but I am now producing our own show here. Is what I'm trying to do. Where did Amin go?
I was gonna ask you the same thing. I was like, he just disappeared. He's like, I'm
He
done.
needed a
with this."
break.
That's it. He just no.
He's
He
just
had
like,
to have
"Ah."
dropped down.
No,
I'm assuming
he
that
said
might be the
it
case.
was a water break. He said he was done. He needed a break.
What?
No one can go at the pace you can go when it's late night LeBatard, when you are everyone's playing drinking games with you. He couldn't keep up. Do you
Oh,
blame
wait a
him?
minute. Okay, so all right. So Jemele, more seriously, because I do want to get.
I mean, we don't have to get more serious because I'm
Well,
just too busy
no,
laughing at this
well,
entire shit.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yes, I suppose
But
you're
if you
right.
but if you have a serious inquiry, Dan,
No, well,
I'm more than
because
happy to answer.
okay, well, this is the thing, though, right? So you have seen everything in America that has happened over the last 8 years that, like your Sports Center got chewed up. You and Michael Smith were going to do something. I just saw it. David, what is this story from LA that they're shuttering Sports Center Los Angeles?
Yeah, they're shutting down.
So
it sounds like
John
they're shutting
Skipper,
down
so John
LAPC.
Skipper was trying to build, like, it's the worldwide leader in sports, and John Skipper was trying to get people in Washington, Los Angeles, New York, Miami. He was trying to make it just, if not worldwide, international. And he was trying to do it with journalism. Like so Jemele's the only Black columnist. I'm the only Hispanic columnist. And John Skipper decides, I'm going to make ESPN a journalism network, and I'm going to go get diverse voices, minority voices. And now you see everything happening with DEI, and it's just lunacy. It's just straight lunacy. And I saw you and Michael Smith. Like you and I remember all the stories. David, if you do not know, Jemele was like the only Black woman columnist in America for like, how many years, Jemele? Were you the only
it was like
one?
2 years. When I was at the Orlando Sentinel, I was the only Black female columnist at a Black female sports columnist at a daily newspaper, and not just America, in North America. That included Canada.
And so I would have thought it was longer than 2 years. I would have thought it was
like 2 years.
Okay.
But well, I'll say this, Dan, in all honesty, it could have been longer just because I didn't know what the math was once I left Orlando and came to ESPN and started writing columns.
So David, we're in Florida, right? And so I'm the Hispanic columnist down in Miami, and she's the best there is in Orlando. And John Skipper's buying up journalists who were watchdogs at ESPN. Like we were the watchdogs on ESPN, and now we all sold our souls to like, so that they could put Chicago Tribune in the background, LA Times in the background, and ESPN could decide to become a journalism company, even though it didn't have to be, right? Like I want you and John one day on the Sporting Class to talk about like the conflict of interest that Skipper had at the very top of the company when he had to like wrestle the NFL on the concussion stuff and journalism, and NPR was doing real journalism on concussions, and ESPN had to stand down because the NFL needed protection
power of the shield.
Correct.
No, it's
Which
the power
is what
of
we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
No, but it's the power of the shield, but it's also John Skipper at the top of sports journalism had to decide between the conflict of interest that was, do I want to do NPR style journalism on concussions, or do I want to let the NFL be the NFL?
So he wasn't the top of sports journalism, though. He was the top of ESPN, which was one of the revenue centers of Disney. So I just be careful how you label what ESPN is. It is one of the pillars of a large company that has shareholders and it has a board. So John can't just on his own do that.
Okay. All right. But so in that, Jemele, like this is the part when I say getting serious, right? My friend Jemele, who I admire almost more than anybody in this business, like top of the food chain. I can't even explain to you how hard she had it. Arrived at the 6 p.m. Sports Center with Michael Smith and had to navigate that labyrinth and of all those corporate conflicts. And it just must be fascinating to you, Jemele, to watch this specifically happening, because this is your past life from 10 years ago. Like I haven't talked to you about this off air that much, but this part must be interesting to you to see McAfee, Shannon Sharp, Kendrick Perkins, to see ESPN like move into, okay, we're just going to go with the athletes. That's easier. And I understand it. I totally get why it is you would just go with, let's do it this way. Now it's a new time in sports, in sports coverage.
Well, really the more fascinating part to me is the freedom. I don't mean necessarily the freedom to say what they are able to say on air, but mostly the freedom to navigate the entire media industry and not have to be beholden to just being at ESPN. You know, the fact that I think Stephen A. and I believe it's Chris Cuomo, they're going to go and do like some tour and, you know, talk to people about politics and these kind of things. Those are things I could have never done or even thought to introduce or would have even had the confidence to pursue those kind of opportunities. And so to see him being able to do that and people being able to fully and freely explore opportunities that are off network, that is not the ESPN.
So great.
And I think it's great. Like I don't want people to get this misconstrued at all.
But Jemele, I wanted it so badly at the end when like they're asking me to do, you know, Cuban moderator on Joe Biden stuff, just because like Jemele, I don't need to explain to you, like above all, I can't imagine what it was like for you to get steamrolled on black causes when all you were doing is shouting 5 years ahead of everyone else, hey, Trump's a fucking white supremacist.
but you know, a lot of that was about you know, the moment that we were in. And don't with all the freedom that they have now, Dan, I don't think I could say that. I don't think anybody at the network could say that now. Because see, this is the other thing that you have to understand is that the people that have been given, like Stephen A has been given a lot of freedom, and I'm just going to use him as an example. Stephen A and our politics are not the same. And because of where I lean, and this is not to suggest that, like, I can't sit up here and tell you, give you a 10-point presentation about what all Stephen A's politics are, but just based off what I heard him say, I think the things that he said politically are not that daring inside the company, meaning that, like, there's a brass and there's an element at ESPN that supports what he says. So therefore, there's going to be a different kind of landing for him than there would have been for me. Like, if I were on ESPN in 2025 and I said Donald Trump was a white supremacist, I'd still be in trouble. Like, I don't think that would not go over well at all. All right. Like, all the same. No, not just me. Like,
anybody who would
anybody could say that.
He's going
now
after lawyers right now.
It would be worse to some degree. And I don't, so regardless of the expansive freedom, it's freedom that has a bit more strings than I think that would necessarily suit me, because there's a certain type of, I don't even like to call them politics, because I feel like that's reductive. And I also feel like it's like diminishing some pretty, serious shit. But like, there's things that I could advocate for that I know would not go over well at ESPN, regardless of this newfound freedom that they're giving to everybody else. You re-upped to me. I didn't know if you got snatched. I mean, it looks like you had like an extended stay. I don't know what the hell is happening.
Yeah, man. This is my home away from home in Miami.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to go. I've been fasting all day, so I got to get more water. I just drank.
He's at the Elser. The Elser is lovely. The Elser has been a wonderful corporate sponsor.
You got a whole apartment? Like, what is happening?
It is. I got a washer dryer in the back too if I need to do laundry.
Dan, would you like to tell everybody Amin's room number?
Well, well, David, usually I do get very self-conscious about, like, don't tell people where I'm staying, but this is a show partner and we want to give them love as much as possible. So yes, the Elsa Hotel.
Thank you, Amin. Look at all. Yes, thank you, Amin.
I know how to take care of sponsors, Dan. The sponsors don't seem to know it.
Cortez, do me a favor. Try and get Nick Wright on. I didn't think anybody in media was better today on the subject of LeBron James than Nick Wright. Like, no one in media. LeBron James says that that Nick Wright says he's better than Mina Kimes and Pablo Torre, and that they are his enemies on his climb to the top of the media. He was so good on it, because, you would have loved. Did you see what Nick did today?
I did not. I was too.
I missed
working.
it. What's
all right. He'll come on and do it again.
Okay.
Last night was so beautiful. Like, the thing that's funny about everything that we're talking about is last night, as the oldest player in the league, after doing that McAfee thing on ESPN's turf, he hits the game winner when he was like 0 for 21 on last-second shots on tiebreakers.
It was a putback.
It was a tip.
Oh,
it was a tip in.
And
all the Pacers, the whole Pacers defense was like, "What are y'all looking at?"
He didn't even watch it. He didn't even see the highlight of it.
I did.
Nobody put a body on anyone.
Listen to me. He had a terrible game. And in the fourth quarter, it looked like, for the first time in 1,000-something games, he might not get to double digits. It's one of the most amazing streaks in sports. But after escalating the stakes this part's fucking crazy. If I had told you in 2010, what would be the betting odds that I would give you on 15 years from now, LeBron's going to be the main story in sports while the oldest player in league still active, and he's going to beat Indiana on a buzzer beater at 39 or 40 years old. The betting odds on that, when the human body can't get, like,
hold on, you got to sprinkle something else on there. While in the midst of a blood feud with Stephen A. Smith, who is now the most powerful man in media, right? Like, that's the other part. It's just like Biff's 1985.
For LeBron James to say, "Fuck you, champion Jason Tatum. Fuck you, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Still my league. Still, I'm the center story in sports. I'll take a regular season game from you at this age." It's crazy. It's totally crazy. It has the human body has limits, and he's not supposed to be at 50,000 points.
I think it's had the opposite impact for me. I think his play is so good still at his age. I don't like the fact that it's distracting us with this stuff and going on McAfee and talking the way he's talking, and Stephen A entering into any of this. I would pass on all of it if I were LeBron, because it's not helping him. There's no advantage to his career post basketball to what he's doing.
Which was always that was the crux of my point today overall in talking about this, is that sometimes you may be right in terms of like how you respond and what you say. And he might've been right in some of the points that he made about this entire feud, but it felt a little bit like a loss for him, because I didn't see any upside to LeBron doing any of this other than out of personal pettiness. Now,
hold on a second. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you guys. Jay Billis has arrived because the University of Florida is doing things. There are things happening with Maryland. We're talking about bullshit, and Jay Billis has got some serious shit to talk about. Update. Look how happy he makes me. Give us some updates on what's happening in this tournament. Florida is better than everyone, aren't they?
They're as good as anybody. Florida, Duke, Houston, Auburn, they're the four best teams. But Alabama just put up 113 points on BYU and made 25 threes. I don't think I've ever seen that, honestly, in a college game. And it's funny, like I was actually, I think I was talking to Feinbaum earlier today, and I was going, the one thing I've never been able to figure out in basketball is how a hot streak starts and when, and how a hot streak ends and when. And I was saying, well, Mark Sears hadn't shot the ball well the last 5 games. He's like 5 of 35 from 3. He's still playing well, but he's not shooting it. And he had 10 threes today. And then 2 of his teammates one had 5 and the other had 6. I mean, they had 25 threes in a 40-minute game is kind of absurd.
That is
like a video game.
Well, thankfully you brought some credibility to this conversation. I appreciate you, Jay.
Without a jacket.
But even better though, he's got a sweater.
Yep.
He's got like a sweater and a
looks so good,
shirt.
so clean. Jay, listen to me. This is late. Look, this is late night Billis. This is the sultriest Billis there is.
I got an old man V-neck on. I don't even have a crew neck. I've got my 60-year-old V-neck on.
I do have a college basketball question for Jay. My Michigan State Spartans play tomorrow, Jay. What do you think about their chances of making it out of the weekend?
I think they're decent because they're really good. I mean, they're deeper. I mean, you've watched them for a long time. They don't shoot it as well as they have in the past.
No, we suck. We're a shitty 3-point shooting team.
But it's funny, Jemele. Like I actually think they've got good shooters, but they haven't shot it well all year long. But the good news is they're getting to the foul line, and with their depth, they can, they still rebound and play defense like they always have, and get out in transition. But they've got a vibe about them at the end of games where they're fresher than their opponent. But I just think if they don't shoot it a little bit better, I think it's going to be hard to win an Elite Eight game. I think they can get there. The problem is Ole Miss is better than their record. Ole Miss is good. They're not great, but they're good. And I think the one difference is Michigan State can really rebound it. And if Ole Miss doesn't bring it on the glass, I think Izzo's team will win.
Would Cooper Flagg be seen as a better player if he were black?
That's supposed to be my question.
You know what? When that came up last time with Tyler Hansbrough, and you and I had a interesting ending to our conveation, that the Final Four was in San Antonio then too. So it's perfect you bring it up now when the Final Four is in San Antonio. You hit all the right notes, Le Batard.
Jay, you are so good. The things that I've been watching about March Madness that have been interesting to me is I really don't understand what the NIL stuff is doing enduringly. Like, I don't know what kind of damage is being done by the fact, and forgive me for slurring, I'm 3 mezcals in. What kind of laugh was that? What was it? That
was giddiness. That was giddiness.
Yes. No, but I heard Jay Williams say no Cinderellas this year. Therefore, NIL has has made it so that the big teams are going to
Jay
win,
Williams,
and we're
yeah.
done with Cinderellas. I may be oversimplifying that, but I really don't know what to make of how the business is going to be affected by the fact that there's this much money crashing into it.
Well, it depends on if you're in the one data point makes a trend crowd. So we've had this kind of year before, and we had it before NIL, where you didn't have as many Cinderellas crashing the Sweet 16 and maybe beyond. But 2 years ago, San Diego State and Florida Atlantic were in the Final Four. And everybody was saying NIL is spreading talent out so much, it's taking away from the major conference teams. And now the Cinderella's dead. It's amazing what happens in a short period of time. I think it's just 1 year, and we need to wait until a little bit more data's in. I don't know what the long-term ramifications of players being paid, but my sense is if principles of economics are applied to college athletics like they are to everything else, that it's going to spread talent out more rather than concentrate it. And I think that's what we're seeing, because I hope I'm not rambling here, but like Ole Miss hasn't been in the Sweet 16 in 24 years. BYU, it's been like 12 years and stuff like that. And if we had this same Sweet 16 2 years ago, people are losing their minds over the entire Sweet 16 came out of 4 major conferences. If the same teams 2 years ago, Houston was in the American Conference, BYU was in the West Coast Conference, and Arizona was in the Pac-12. So we would have the same teams in 7 conferences. Would that make everybody feel better? To me, it's just it's a narrative that the facts haven't been applied to yet.
When's the
You
last
know
time
what I noticed? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No,
Dan.
I just want to know the last time he lost an argument. I don't feel like he thinks, I don't feel it's
About
been a
20
long
minutes
time.
ago with my wife. I'm trying to get her to fix. I'm trying to get her to fix our bathroom, because I don't think our guests should have a better bathroom experience than I have in my own home. Our guest bathroom is better than my bathroom. She's like, that doesn't matter. Clearly, that doesn't matter. So I just lost one.
This is what I love about Jay. That's a fight he's going to lose all the time. But I don't believe that he believes he would lose a fight with anyone in sports media in debate, not even Stephen A. Smith. Not even.
Yeah, I think I would lose to him. I might throw it.
Then you can't win when the guy can start his apology and then somehow turn it around and turn it down. I retract nothing.
I take back nothing.
I retract nothing. How do you beat that?
I regret nothing. I retract nothing. I retract. It's so great. I'm sorry, Jay. I didn't mean to do that to you. That's unfair. It's so great. You don't have, but second place, who else is beating you in an argument in sports media?
In sports media. Well, I don't argue with that many people. It's reserved mostly for you.
You win. No, you look, Jay. There are not a lot of people who can say anything to change your mind if you are publicly arguing on behalf of an NCAA injustice, on behalf of all the things that you've been fighting for as a I look, I don't bullshit this guy. He's been doing lawyerly work that's important in his sphere that I'm not going to say passes for activism, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close because you seem to care about not just college sports, but the young people who are playing it, at least in part, because you were shaped by that entire thing in a way that the man sitting in front of us now, says, I imagine, I don't want to speak for you, but would say that college basketball made him who he is.
Oh yeah. No, I think that's true. But one of the things about and you're very kind to say all that, but one of the things about having a discussion with somebody, when I was younger, before I went to law school, if I got in an argument with in this group and you guys kick my ass, I'd get my feelings hurt. Now I don't care anymore. It's not about the people, it's about the issue. So I actually like debating something because it stress tests my position. And if I'm wrong or I'm not seeing it the right way, I want to know. And so I enjoy getting in a debate about stuff. It's just the NCAA stuff. I've been involved in this so long, and then on the policy side, most people don't wade into it. So I feel like I know it, and so I've thought about it, and my position's pretty hardened. It doesn't mean I'm right, but the Supreme Court has said I'm right, so maybe that means something.
Supreme Court is corrupt. The Supreme Court. That doesn't mean anything. you fool.
I just don't know what's under those robes. I'm not sure I want to know, but
no
corruption.
One
I already told you. Corruption.
Corruption is underneath the robes. Jay, you know what I noticed about this tournament? I mean, it's not like this is necessarily new. These guys are fucking old. And I think it's Tennessee. No, it's Auburn. The average age for Tennessee or for Auburn is 23. The average age of the OKC Thunder is 24. I feel like every time I've watched a game in this tournament, the announcer goes, and there's such and such. He's transferred from his fourth school. He's been in college 7 years. I'm like, what the fuck? What happened to all the 18-year-olds? For everybody that is on a college team now that is in this tournament can rent a car. I mean, is this just
that's
a reality that we have to, accept? Because between the portal and NIL and the COVID year, it feels like every dude that is playing right now has been playing college basketball for 7 years.
Yeah, it's a good point, and not only can they rent a car, they buy them now, which is a nice thing.
Yeah.
I think the problem is it stems from the NCAA not minding the store for the last 50 years. There was recently a court ruling that basically said that the NCAA can't apply eligibility rules to people that played junior college because that's not part of the NCAA system. So if you played an extra year in prep school or something, that doesn't count against your college eligibility. Why should junior college count? That kind of thing. So that's where you're seeing some of these older players, and there are other reasons for it too. Part of it's the COVID year too, which was in my view, kind of a dumb NCAA rule. It felt good, but it was not like they didn't show a lot of foresight in that. But it kind of depends, Jemele, on how people want to look at it. Like 4 years ago, people were saying, the most vocal ones were saying, well, I hate one and done because I can't get to know the players anymore. And, now there's a thought of, well, wait a minute, these guys are too old. What happened to the younger players? And so I don't know where the right mix is. One thing I do know is that, or I believe anyway, is the coaches that are complaining about the portal. No non-athlete is told whether they can transfer or not, and if they do, whether there's a restriction on it. And these are supposed to be students to be treated like any other student. But now the coaches are saying, hey, the players are being tampered with in the portal. They're getting offers now. There's poaching. There's no loyalty anymore. There's no commitment. And every time you turn around, a coach is negotiating his way out to a new school while his team's still playing. It happens in football, but now it's happening in basketball. And there's a big story about Kevin Willard going to Villanova while his team's still in the Sweet 16. And they want to say the players are getting tampered with. Like, these guys are under contract to member institutions, and other member institutions are interfering with that contractual relationship. And we think that's okay. But it's not okay for players. I'm just getting tired of hearing the coaches complain about it.
Some good old-fashioned indignance from a man wearing a sweater at 10 p.m. at night. I love you, Jay. Thank you.
Thanks,
nice
Jay.
seeing you. Thank you for making the time for us. I need to get Nick Wright in here because he's got a lot of LeBron thoughts. Thank you. That's good people right there. Nick Wright is you guys haven't seen this because
No.
well, I mean, so go ahead as a basketball head and lover, whether the tip at the end is a legitimate game winner or not.
Oh.
LeBron allowing Luka to take the last shot at the end of a Pacers game. LeBron making smart plays, being the smartest basketball player in the history of basketball. You can say whatever you want about Michael Jordan being the GOAT. The smartest player in the history of basketball is LeBron James. At the end of the game, Luka takes the shot. Luka's the future. And yes, LeBron just gets a tip in, but as the oldest player in the league makes his first game tying or game winning bucket in 22 tries at the rim. I mean, in the history of the sport you love, there has never been this human being.
Oh, no, yeah. I don't think anyone is arguing that, like, oh, yeah, I've seen this before. Obviously, what he's doing is incredible and it's unprecedented. I would say, as it pertains to that play last night, again, it was a live play. He pushed it up. Luka pushed it up the floor, gave it up, I believe, to Reeves, and then they found the ball. The ball found its way back to Luka, and Luka takes a runner, and the Pacers defense was discombobulated the whole time. They were chasing their tail, and nobody put a body on LeBron or anybody for that matter. They just stood there and watched. You had three guys reacting to Luka, and LeBron did the right thing, went to the front of the rim and tipped it in. Like, it's a smart play to go to the front of the rim. Also, somehow they forgot that LeBron was on the floor, which is crazy. It's kind of like when Steph Curry's wide open for a three. I always say the same thing. Like, you don't have league pass? Like, you didn't think, hey, by the way, I better figure out where this guy is at all times, regardless of what's happening. So there's that. He's smart for sure. Is he the smartest? I don't know. I don't know how you compare. I know smart players. I know really smart players. I don't know how to say who's the smartest. Is it LeBron? Is it Magic? Is it Steve Nash? Or is it maybe it's a name that we don't think about? Is it Boris Diaw? Is it Chuck Hayes? Is it Rasheed Wallace? Like, there are so many players who are incredibly intelligent, but just not skilled or not athletic enough. LeBron is blessed with the incredible amalgamation of everything, where he's got it all. He's got the size, he's got the skill, and he's got the IQ, and he's got the photographic memory, which I think makes
Boris Diaw is what Jemele, you heard that? You were with me there. You heard is the smartest player in the history of basketball.
I'm telling you,
Jemele,
you, Dan,
no, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Jemele, you know 1 million times more about basketball than I do. Go ahead and try to make the argument that Boris.
but Dan, what you're doing is clearly the best players are the smartest. And if he was so smart, and I'm telling you right now, there are players who basketball wise are fucking computers. Boris is one of those guys. You gotta understand, Boris is, if you wanted to say like someone was made in a lab, Boris is as close as it gets, right? Mother, the greatest basketball player in the history of women's basketball in France. Father was a track athlete. Boris went to basketball school. He went to school for basketball. His brain is so wild as far as the things that he sees on the court. I've sat there in video sessions with coaches where they're like, oh, right here, yeah, Boris needs to come and do this. He messed up on this. And then we show the film to Boris, and Boris will be like, yes, but if I do this, then he comes over here, and then that guy over there. And he will find a way where 7 iterations down, it's like, yeah, he's actually right. You're like, oh, shit. Like, he saw the whole play out in an incredible amount of, like, detail and foresight, and as a result made his own decision that I'm not going to do what they asked me to do. I'm going to do something different. And I'm using him as an example because he's someone that I have sat there and been around and saw that shit happen real time. And I'm telling you, these guys are everywhere. Rasheed Wallace was like that. Rajon Rondo was like that. We talk about Rajon Rondo knowing everybody's playbook, and telling them when they're running it wrong. I'll tell you the Rasheed Wallace story where we drop a play out the timeout, and we come out and Amari's in the wrong place. And coach is like, Amari, over there. And Amari's like, where, here? It's like, no, over there. What, over here? It's like, no. And then finally Rasheed Wallace, who's guarding Amari, is like, oh, look, he wants you to start here. You're going to set the down screen here. Then he's going to pop out. Then you can go over here. You can either roll, or if you don't roll, he went through our entire play, all the wrinkles, all the iterations. And then the coach was like, yeah, pretty much what he said. Like, it's like, yeah, Rasheed got it.
Jemele, I love you. Thank you. I know
yes, it was
too much
fun.
Let's do it again, okay? I want to do this again with you. I want to do it as much as I can, okay?
All right, and next time I'll join you, but not in mezcals. You know, I'm just a Anejo Reposado drinker. I hate mezcal, but that's okay.
That's
I'll join
okay.
you next time.
Look, I am.
All
I
right.
You
am
coming to
he-
Dreamville
I'm-
Fest?
I'm going to keep slurring. I mean, you haven't heard
No.
Nick Wright. I thought, and bring him on here so that I can tell him to his face.
Wow.
Nick, you did the best thing in sports media today on the LeBron thing. The best.
Wow, thank you.
The best thing on the volume. What's Right with Nick Wright. And this is the part that made me happiest. Like I loved that you kept telling new audience, "Hey, this is my son. This is my son." I loved it so fucking much.
Listen, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Cheers. Amin, good to see you. I apologize. I don't know your guys' discourse on the situation because I was quite busy today. So I do a good job, I think, of I don't read my mentions because it just fucks with you. It's hard to, I think it's a problem for a lot of people. I think it impacts them. But about once a month, I'm very confident I've done something that is going to be met with just mostly praise. I do read them. I'm like, okay, today's a good day to read them.
I felt so good, Nick. I felt so good for you today because it's your wheelhouse of not only am I going to support the celebration of the greatest athlete I've ever seen in my life, Patrick Mahomes included, but also I'm going to be able to point out that this Stephen A. Smith stuff is amazing as the only person in media who seems to be willing to go at Stephen A.
And it's such a weird spot because the day, in the weirdest turn of events ever, the day LeBron ended up walking up on Stephen A. I obviously had no idea that was going to happen. No one did. That morning, texted Stephen A. Like, hey man, because he had just said Durant's one of the 10 best players ever. And I did a take that was like, hey, the thing about whenever someone says this, you actually are like, hey, name your 10. They have 17. Like no one actually names 10 and has Durant in the 10. And it got kind of aggregated like it was an attack on him. So I sent him a message like, hey man, I'm doing this kind of media criticism thing. So at times, you're going to be in the crosshairs, but I assume we have respect for each other. And he texted me back and was super cool. I do like him as a guy. He's always been great to me. And then that night, LeBron goes at him and then he goes on this, tour. And now I have found myself being I have accused Stephen A. of doing to the LeBron interaction, I have now done to the Stephen A. reactions, which is like I am doing a bunch of commentary on that. So that might damage the relationship. It is what it is. But I think the whole thing's so outrageous. And I think the most notable thing today, if I may, was...
hold on, Nick. Hold on. Let me hold you. Your mic is bad, so hold on just a second.
It's not the right mic selected. I think it's
hold on. We're gonna get your microphone right on this. That's okay. No, I want to. I look. Let me explain something.
Now is correct. Is that better?
Hold on.
No.
Hold on a second. Look. This is what's happening. We're gonna get this right. Thank you,
Nick Wright.
Good people of the internet, for complaining about Nick Wright's microphone so much that I stop enjoying what we're doing when I'm telling people that Nick Wright has had, on a day where everyone is at the trough talking about LeBron stuff, I thought he got most right everything that we just saw yesterday when you're looking at the macro, all of it, right?
I fixed the mic.
Sports coverage over the last 15 years. Nick Wright has carved out a space for him in sports media where he's wildly controversial because he says LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. Stephen A. Smith is on air today saying, I will not say ever in my life, I will not say it. I will not say that. It's the best thing.
It's all time.
It's
just all time. Amin, I am curious because I haven't seen it today. Your take on the interaction and what's going on, because, you know, you and I probably see this a little differently, maybe some of the same, but a little differently.
Yeah, I said basically the Cliff Notes is I think it's shameful for basketball that the biggest media voice and the biggest player voice are engaged in the most childish, petty kind of, yeah, well, you suck. Well, I could whoop your ass. And like, it's not good for our sport. Well, earlier on the stream, I asked, why don't we have this issue in football? You know, Aaron Rodgers is a guy that says outlandish things, and he's a pretty big name over there. And the reason why is because no one engages with him on that level who has that kind of platform. And the reason for that is because the NFL runs a tighter ship in terms of how its media partners will cover its sport. And I said this on the show earlier, and I said it on this stream. I'm just shocked that Commissioner Silver just gives like this, I wish these guys would just sell it. No, you're the guy that's supposed to call these people and impress upon them like, this isn't right. You're not supposed to do this, and you can't do this. And I need you guys to get together, squash this, or do whatever it takes to make this go away from the public eye.
So that should the commissioner step in and have a heavier hand is an interesting. I'm not dismissing it, but it's just that's almost like not censorship, but that's a real kind of third rail almost just topic. I'm curious. I don't know. I don't think, and again, that's fine if people can make fun of me. Aside from what I thought was unfair to Wendy, I don't know what LeBron's done wrong here.
That was to me that was
so
huge.
pissed. Nick, Amin is a loyal soldier. I love Amin. Amin was so pissed that Brian Windhorst has done his job correctly for 20 years, and that LeBron would bully him for bullshit reasons, like just total. I don't know. Fuck the fat guy for fuckery. Like that was bullying.
So listen, I don't know Wendy the way you do, and despite that, I feel like I love the guy, and I think that. So I watched that whole interview. That was the only part where I was like, damn, I didn't love that. I'm not, and even though LeBron was clearly pissed that Wendy said he signed with Nike because of Michael Jordan, he thought that was a fact error.
And he's wrong.
He's wrong. Right. But I thought he acts like he's my best friend. I consume a lot of Wendy stuff. Wendy does not do that. So so that part, that was the one thing that I thought was a misstep. Yeah. The rest, the way he is, so I'm not trying to separate it, but as far as the way he has handled the Stephen A of it, I don't think he's made a mistake. I think he has handled it correctly. And I also think that there is a real vulnerability being exposed by people's inability to be like, oh, okay. Either I was wrong, or even if you're not want to say you were wrong, I'm not going to win this fight. I am stunned. And people can say, oh, it's the attention economy and it's generating attention. I think it's bigger.
People like that guy over there.
Who's that guy? Are you pointing at Dan? We have different.
Yes.
Okay. So here's where I disagree. I don't think Stephen A is bullshitting that he might one day have serious aspirations outside of sports, and this doesn't help that.
No, wait,
flatly.
Not serious aspirations out of sports. He's bored with sports. He's conquered sports. Look, Nick, you've got rivals. Pablo and Mina are your rivals. Stephen A's won. He's the winner.
Right, which is why staying within sports and picking a fight with someone that you're going to lose the fight to is a misstep. Because here's the thing. Ultimately, and this is the point I made, and I will make it again, ultimately, all of this is just a proxy war on Michael Jordan's behalf.
It's unbelievable. Nick, of it. But I mean, hold on a second. Yeah. Look, I love Nick Wright. I think he's the future of this business, but the fact that he's been able to grift off the argument that LeBron, he and I, look, Nick, it's bullshit that you could take LeBron's better than Michael, and Stephen A's out here saying, no, Michael's better than LeBron, that would be the argument of our times is total bullshit.
Well, so
and
that's
it's smarter
fair,
than that.
but I have to make 2 points here. First, on the one I was trying to make. Here's why it's an unwinnable war. The guy you're fighting for, his cement is dry. The other guy just made a game winner last night. And because of that, you are fighting from such a disadvantage because it's all about that. It is all about that. And you are now, in my opinion, positioned yourself where it is you are going to have to keep talking about the Lakers and LeBron, and no matter what you do in that moment, people are going to kill you for it. So I think that part of it is unwinnable. Unrelated to that, but just because, Dan, you said this is the fight of our time in this business, I cannot imagine how, and I say this with true empathy, and whether people believe it or not, how impossible to digest these last 48 hours have been for Skip. That Skip is not there for this moment. That Skip is like, you've got to be like, hold on.
Years.
Instead of sitting across, instead of arguing with either Shannon, who might as well, is as close to a party to it as possible, or Stephen A, who is involved, I'm talking to Ernestine about it. Like, what happened? Like that's gotta be just like, wait, like Dan, 6 months ago. Dan, why did this happen now?
Nick, Dan, before you came on, said the best thing I've heard about this topic, I heard it from Nick Wright. And I won't lie, I was like, what? Hold on.
Hold
on. Let him finish.
What's right with Nick Wright on the volume?
Thank you.
And he's doing it with his son. What's right with Nick Wright on the volume?
Thank you, Dano.
And that's all.
But go ahead. I mean, I know what you're about to say.
What he said right now, that's the best thing I've heard about this.
I mean,
that is far and away.
I can't imagine how that would feel.
Nick,
I cannot.
Nick, let me explain something to you. When Bob Dylan wrote, something's blowing in the wind, right? How many roads?
Yeah.
Sam Cooke heard that song and got upset because he was like, "That's such an amazing song. A black man should have wrote that song. I should have wrote that song, and that guy beat me to it." And that's why he wrote "A Change Is Gonna Come." That was him inspired by that song, but always feeling like, "Fuck, I missed the boat. I should have been the one who had that boat." That's how I feel right now. Like you said that
you should have had that take.
I should have had that. An hour and 40 minutes into this shit, I should have said this shit at least once.
I mean, there are so many cool tentacles to this. I have to unlock a door real quick. Hold on. I'm right here.
That's okay. My phone has died. I need to tell the producers my phone has died, so I can't I can't receive any messages. But I mean, I'm telling you. Yeah,
I'm back. Dan, are you drunk, Dan? I feel like you're being too complimentary of me.
No. I mean, I am drunk, but I mean, where did Amin just go?
Amin couldn't believe that I asked if you were drunk.
No, I need to tell everybody who's watching this that they need to go see what Nick did with his son on this, because Nick met the moment today like no one in sports media. And I want to give you the space here, Nick, to talk, because it's such a ridiculous thing. Who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Well, LeBron James is doing things at 40 years old that are asinine. They're just completely asinine. And so as Stephen A tries to badger LeBron with the idea, you'll never be my GOAT. And as you make your career around, he's the GOAT, I believe. LeBron's the GOAT. What yesterday was insane. Like,
it was insane. It was insane. And here's the other piece of it. It also signaled people have asked, they're like, oh man, why didn't LeBron go on with you to me? And the answer is multiple fold. One is Pat McAfee's podcast and show is obviously far bigger than What's Right with Nick Wright or
For
even my
now.
TV show
For
now. I mean,
now.
whatever. But that's LeBron did not go on that because of the size of the platform.
That's
He
right.
went on that because
So good.
it was, oh, that's, as the kids would say, your op.
He
Like,
drove-
I am going
Nick,
to.
Nick. He drove to a warehouse somewhere in Indiana. In
Right.
Indiana, like before a
minutes from
game
downtown.
against the Pacers, he drove to fuck everyone at ESPN who's saying shit about it.
No, correct. And so like that part of it is, to me, really fascinating. The fact that, and I also find this part fascinating, that LeBron went and has gone 20 years without ever responding and without he has never uttered the word Skip Bayless. He's never said it. He has been very on message disciplined the same way. He's very calculating on certain things.
While I've never heard Stephen A. Smith call anyone a liar on television.
Well,
way he
tough
did
to
today.
call someone a liar moments at, like, man, here. Okay, let's just get into that. I don't even want to talk about the other piece of it, the LeBron. Let me just do this real quick. People have asked me, because I was going to make this point earlier, but my mic was screwed. People have asked me, I'm sure you get this, Amin. I'm sure you, well, Dan, you maybe not, because people just believe you. I'm
going to let you guys talk because my wife has just emerged from the bath and I'm going to go say hello to her. So
bath?
you guys take this for here.
Wow.
2 hours ago, you were getting that bath ready.
Wow. See ya. So here's the thing, Amin.
Mhm.
And you've heard this. Do you believe what you say? Like, come on,
yeah.
you don't believe all this. It's like one of the top, the number one thing I hear is, wow, you're taller than I thought. And the number two thing I hear is, do you believe what you say? And my answer's always, yeah. Do I say it louder? Do I say it with more confidence? Do I put a lot of seasoning on it? Sure. But the reason you can believe I believe what I say is because it would be so exhausting and so impossible to juggle lies or to juggle opinions. If I did one show a week for a half hour, I could say anything. But if I do 15 hours a week and I'm not actually just saying what comes to mind, I'm like, wait, did I say this? Whatever. So I thought it was very, very telling today when, after 4 years, the stance has been, I have no problem with LeBron. He doesn't like me, but I have no problem with him. I think he's this, I think he's that. Today it was, he's a backstabber and a liar, and that's why I don't like him. It's like, well, did that opinion change in the last 2 weeks, or has that always been the opinion, and now it is just coming out? By the way, people don't have to like everybody, but I do think you owe to the audience, to a degree, an authenticity about how, like, you mentioned Aaron Rodgers. I've been very clear with the audience that I think Aaron Rodgers is a phony and not a good dude. And so take my opinions of him, under those, colored by that. And so I thought that was an interesting piece of this as well.
Yeah, no, it's all of it, right? We played some clips earlier of Kendrick Perkins.
The perk thing, I don't know what happened. The perk thing's weird.
It's all, it's funny because you talk about do you believe everything you say? And I think about all the critical things that I've said, and I think almost all the critical things I've said are like something rooted in. Yes. Not my emotion. It's not rooted in my emotion, right? It might be. It's based on like, I don't agree. Or I don't approve of that, right?
Yep.
The stuff that happened today by everyone not named Brian Windhurst, it just seemed to be so rooted in like, oh, he hurt my feelings, and now it's everything I'm saying is a thing that people.
Right. It's he hurt my feelings, or he never kissed the ring. Like people can listen.
I don't think it's a ring kiss situation when, as you said, all of a sudden now it's all these things.
No, but I think it's.
Are you saying It's always
I'm-
you're saying he's always felt like that, is what you're
Yes. I'm telling
Okay.
you that I am telling you that the genesis of all of this is LeBron never gave him the time of day. And that's it. And that's it. And that everyone else that isn't on the hit list has to a degree.
Nick, it's so good. It's so good that my wife just emerged from the bath and I'm back here because of how good that is.
This guy, Le Batard's hammered with what would appear to be a naked wife fresh from the bath, and he's like, I got to talk sports with you guys.
Nick,
Like
you're
he's
gonna,
never
you,
retire.
Nick,
He's never retiring.
Nick, you're going to pretend right now that today, like if I say to you as a
He's about to
content
say
day,
was today.
as a content day, today or chief stuff, Nick. For
I
you,
thought you were going somewhere else.
Nick,
No, listen, I can't. So let me tell you guys something that I've said on the show, but I don't think people have put the pieces together. As the happiest coincidence ever, Monday and Tuesday, I'm not on the air because we're FS1 has college basketball. The Crown, the new NIT, the Crown is on in my time slot.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get time off, I basically always go to Vegas. However, when I was looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. My wife's best friends live in Memphis. My daughters are on spring break. And this Saturday, the Lakers are in Memphis. So a month ago, I was like, we're all going to that game. We're going to go to Memphis, and I'm going to leave Memphis after the game to go to Vegas. LeBron gets hurt, and then I'm kind of reading the tea leaves, and I'm like, man, they say he's going to be out. I don't think he's going to be out. But the ticket market thought maybe he'll be out. And I bought 2 dead true courtside seats to Lakers Memphis for Saturday. So am I saying that LeBron and I are going to have a LeBron and Stephen A interaction on the court, except the exact opposite? I'm not saying that. I am saying I'm going to be sitting courtside for Lakers Grizzlies Saturday because everything aside from the result of the Super Bowl, things just keep coming up Nick Wright. I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Nick is in perfect. Nick is in perfect position. Like after Shannon Sharp tried to fight the Grizzlies, and
it's a full circle.
No, after LeBron tries to fight Stephen A, Nick is going to slide in after hugging Patrick Mahomes and be LeBron. I'm your
right
guy.
there.
I'm your guy, LeBron.
Hanging out courtside with my super hot wife in Memphis. Just why is Nick Wright in Memphis? He just is on way to Vegas. And by the way, I'll tell you something to me and you'll love. So when I set this up, I was like, all right, at sometime Sunday, I'm flying to Vegas. And I'm like, it's Vegas. There's always flights everywhere.
Right.
And yeah. So there are 2 nonstop options. Memphis to Vegas. Mm-hmm. It is Spirit and my airline of choice from the Midwest, Southwest. Can you imagine what the late night, Sunday night Memphis to Vegas Southwest flight is going to look like? That's the one I'm on. Oh, yeah, baby. I don't care they changed that baggage policy. I'm riding. So
hold on. You're wondering about what that flight's going to be on because rightfully so. You're going to be on that flight. I'm wondering what that
the Spirit
is like. That's what I want to see. Like, prepare for combat.
Yeah, that's an all-timer. And last time I was in Memphis, because I go to Memphis about once a year, my wife's best friends are there, and it's a great town. But so I'm excited. I'm excited for the game. I'm now actually kind of sweating a bit. Not sweating, but hold on. Sorry, I don't know the rules here. Lakers Bulls 1-point game.
How'd you make this about you? There's all sorts of sports going on tonight. We're competing against inside the NBA and opening day. Hey, Nick, do you know David Samson? Are you familiar with?
I obviously know him from you guys. Yeah.
Okay, well, Dave, let's
Kinda
bring him
seems like
back
an
on
asshole.
because he's been pushed off to the fringes as you've been talking. He's still in a jacket. He's still in this. What's going on with opening day, David? Like Nick, you have become somebody who is a wonderful generalist. I don't know. Instead of journalist, a generalist. I don't know how you feel about baseball.
Well, my feelings about baseball, it's like what the stock market, my feelings about baseball and how good the Royals are it's the exact same about like the stock market when a Republican's in office, except the exact opposite. It is directly, totally correlated. So when the Royals are good, which is 4 of the last 20 years, I'm dialed in. So I watched today, blew it in the 10th, but Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr., if you had to pick any player in baseball to start a franchise with, Bobby Witt Jr. might be the answer over Shohei. But aside from that, like I don't know much about the NL other than the Dodgers. So that's my answer. Hi, David. Nice to finally meet you.
Good to see you, Nick. Thank you for doing this. It's
Yeah,
been great while I'm sitting here.
Oh, I didn't know. Nobody told me.
He's been sitting here. Well, I want the best. Nick. Today's your day, Nick.
Thanks.
Nick.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't have to necessarily be my day for it to be slightly better content for the audience than Samson. I mean, it could be just Wednesday.
It's hard for me to imagine, Dan, how great this is. Thank you all so much. It's been a slice of heaven.
He left?
That's it?
Just like
I thought he was going to give us a baseball update.
What's the update? Yeah.
I wanted a baseball update, but he's giving the room to you. Nick, this is Victory Lap Nick Right Thursday. Nick is right. Look.
Sorry, I'm looking down because the Lakers are just trying to hold on. 12 seconds left.
Do you have a
against
bet?
the Bulls.
Do you have a bet on the game?
No. No, I'm just emotionally tied to the team doing well because it's good for me personally and professionally. I'm not betting on. I bet a lot, but I have very specific rules about when and how I bet. Because if I'm just betting like random for no reason, then I'll just be betting everything every day. So I have specific rules about it.
Yeah, that's what I do. It's why I'm a terrible gambler. Do you think you don't think the Lakers can win the championship this year? Correct?
They're one of only 3 teams that can win the championship.
One of only
the
3?
Celtics can win the title, the Thunder can win the title, and the Lakers can win the title. No one else can win the title.
The Nuggets can win the title.
I thought that too because Joker is so good, but
Amin's got 9 teams. Amin's got 9 teams that can win the title.
Yeah. So every year, Nick, sometime about a couple weeks after All-Star break, I book my hotels for the NBA Finals because if you wait, it's terrible. And if you do the media hotel, you don't guarantee a Marriott, and I need my Marriott points. So usually it's pretty easy because it's like a couple of teams, and we know who the best team is going to be. They'll have
you booked 9 cities. Can I guess them?
9 cities. 9 cities. Yes, you can. But hold on, 9 cities, and then also for 8 of them. That's a hint. For 8 of them, there's home court and not having home court. So
right.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So it's Lakers Clippers.
Right. Clippers by virtue of being in LA.
Yeah.
But
okay. Yeah.
Lakers.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So Lakers are 1. The Thunder, the Cavs, obviously. The Celtics, obviously. The Nuggets, obviously. Because folks in the media just can't quit Steph. The Warriors, obviously.
He's going to throw the Timberwolves in there.
So hold on. I've only given you 2 in the the Bucks out of respect for Giannis.
Yes.
Is 7. Did you include the Knicks?
Yes.
No.
So that's 8.
Come on.
And now I'm missing 1 team. The team is either Memphis or Minnesota. It's not Houston, even though their record. I'm gonna say Minnesota.
You're on the right.
Minnesota.
Oh,
it was Memphis?
It was Memphis.
Wow.
It was Memphis.
Wow.
It was.
You're the only one saying that.
Well, now they're all hurt.
That's why I'm the only one who's gonna have a good
hotel room when they get there.
They've got Dan. It's got 2 hotels. It's a 2-hotel town.
Right. Well,
no one but you thinks Memphis has a chance this year. No one but you.
But the point is, so this is not an exercise of like, oh, it's going to happen. It's an exercise of, if it happens, I don't want to be scrambling, right? Houston, to me, 0% chance. And it's not because they're not a good team. It's because they're young, and young teams.
Well, nobody ever wins the way Houston would have to win this year. It's never
Hold
happened.
on. I have to interrupt you guys because there is an odd piece given of everything that's just happened. Semi-breaking news. Here was the situation. The Lakers were up 5 with 12 seconds left.
No.
The Bulls hit a 3.
No, wait a minute. What are you doing?
Hold on, Dan.
So now it's 115, 113. LeBron James then threw a bad inbounds pass.
Oh, my God.
And the Bulls hit another 3.
Skip Bayless is back.
So it is now 116, 115 with 6 seconds left, which means we might have the Lakers blew it, and we might have back-to-back buzzer beaters. Like, I don't know what's going to happen here.
You got to give us play-by-play.
Dan, I have an update, by the way, from Lakers Bulls of a different variety, an update that you asked about. And it's Dave McMenamin, whose eye patches have now disappeared.
Hold on. Nick doesn't know anything about this. This. Wait a minute. You can't just bring this on from today's show without explaining to Nick what it is. Nick, this is what happened to me today. I was watching.
The Bulls have hit 10 threes in the fourth. They have hit 10 fourth quarter
the Bulls
threes.
scored 146 against the Lakers.
Can I give you? Do you guys want the actual play-by-play?
Well, it's game time, baby.
All right, Luka is inbounding it. LeBron breaking open to the top. He gives it to Reeves. Reeves to the basket. Layup, good. Oh! LeBron never even touches the ball. The Bulls are out of timeouts. Giddey from half court.
No,
that's
not
good.
No,
Giddey made it.
No, you're making
Giddey
that
made
up.
it from half court.
No, you're making that up. You're making that up.
He's not. It's good.
You can't do that. You can't.
Giddey just he's holding up his phone. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
that didn't just happen.
The Bulls just hit the shot. The Bulls had no timeouts, and Giddey hit a half quarter.
No one wants to talk about this, and I understand why. Because
the Bulls have been good for a month.
Since you know what? Since the banners got damaged,
146. They scored 146 on the Lakers.
This time they only scored 119.
They got all white guys.
27 points better. I can't believe Josh Giddey just hit a half quarter. That's going to have an actual impact on the playoff picture because it's going to impact seeding.
Asinine. A half quarter while we're sitting here talking.
A true half quarter.
Nick, you did the play-by-play as if you were expecting a half quarter. You did not have the reaction of someone who had just witnessed.
It was because it looked like it wasn't like it was a real shot. And it also, listen, I'm weird. And then I kind of believe in sports gods, and the Lakers deserve to lose. If you're up 5 and you allow back-to-back threes and throw the inbounds away, kind of deserve to lose. And then also the other piece of that is if, LeBron would have made the right play, but if you also have the opportunity to let LeBron hit back-to-back walk-offs to tie Jordan for 9 all time, LeBron, of course, 5 in the playoffs, Jordan 3, and he never touches the ball, probably don't deserve to win either. Come on, JJ Redick, be better. Come on, give him the ball.
JJ Redick on the hot seat. That's Dan's favorite show now.
So, hold on a second. Before I let Nick go, because I felt like I saw a smidgen. I'd like to see inside his soul here. I felt like he had a smidgen of Nick Wright wrestling character.
What?
Fraudulence.
There's no character.
Fraudulence. Hold on.
What do you mean?
Okay, hold on. You can disagree with what I'm saying in a second. The way that you constructed the argument around how smart LeBron was to allow Luka to come up the court, and I'm not saying that you're wrong about this, to allow Luka to come up the court and take the future of Lakers basketball with him on taking the final shot when Luka hasn't been great while he's been over with the Lakers, and he's been kind of inefficient while he's been over with the Lakers. The fact that you made that a celebration of LeBron James's brilliance because the shot went in, when it could have easily been argued that LeBron James passed up the ability to be clutch in the moment, Skip Bayless would have made that argument if...
Yeah, but those people are idiots. Yeah, not Skip, but the people. Yeah.
Like the way that yesterday broke for you in terms of argument making, you have to admit that when you say the basketball gods are with you, yesterday is a day when they have rarely been with you more than that.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, yeah. I mean, yesterday the basketball gods weren't with me. Yesterday the basketball gods were with LeBron. And I just, kind of can coast
LeBron.
off that for yesterday. And today they lose to the Bulls because they blow it in the end in unbelievable fashion. That's a bad one. Now, I will say, if there was any concern about the Lakers taking that Grizzlies game seriously, there won't be now. And you know who'll be there for that? This guy.
That's right.
I love it.
All right. See you later, buddy. That's right.
Guys.
That's right. Please let Nick Wright be in the middle of everything when the Lakers play Memphis. Let's bring in Samson here again. I mean, I gotta go. My wife is waiting for me. She's just emerged from the bath. This has been way too long. Samson, give us. In fact, you and I can leave, and I'd just like to hear all the baseball that Samson's got for us.
I got to do it with my own show after this, a whole hour. Go ahead, Samson.
Doing a whole hour?
No, I'm fucking around. I got to get the fuck out of here. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm going to start Nothing Personal right now. Because if you guys leave, then that's what Nothing Personal
see you
is.
later. Let me
The whole
talk to
point of
Samson for a
this
while. Let me talk to
do
Samson for a
stuff
while.
with you guys. And instead, I'll just talk to myself again.
Get out of
See you
here.
later,
Good
man.
night. Good night.
I'm not saying anything. I want to talk about the baseball that we never got to talk about because David Samson got excluded from our chat. Thank you. Amin will be on tomorrow. Thank you. I'm hosting. Amin, you've been busting your ass. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. See you guys tomorrow.
Have a good show.
David, I don't know what happened in baseball tonight. Help me.
No, you know great. You know exactly that Juan Soto led off for the Mets, and they lost to Framber Valdez, who went 7 strong, and the Mets lost. You know that the Yankees barely held on to beat the Brewers. You know that your hometown team, the Marlins, didn't draw a sellout, and they added a freaking home run thing where the sculpture's supposed to be some NCL boat for an under market valued sponsorship. And you know the Marlins had the first walk-off in their history. You also know the Dodgers are 3-0 and that Jemele is going to the game tomorrow night. But it doesn't matter because it doesn't interest you in really in
opening
any
day
possible
history,
way.
not in their history. Walk off in their opening day.
Opening day history. I was obviously.
All right, so tell me about.
You know that Austin Wells led off the season, first catcher ever with a opening day leadoff home run ever.
Tell me about the statue because you
Joke.
I don't well. I
Derek
don't know how
Jeter
much-
spent almost $3 million moving that home run sculpture, which was a public sculpture, not a Marlin sculpture. It was an art installation, and Jeter spent almost $3 million to move it to the outside.
Tell me the story of the sculpture and what you saw tonight and how much it bothered you.
Well, I love seeing people at Marlins Park. I loved seeing the Marlins walk off, and Griffin Conine, who I've known forever, is starting in right field for the Marlins. I love that. I just don't love the way the ballpark looks without that home run sculpture. I miss it.
What was the new one? What does it look like?
It looks like
I'm
a
sorry,
ship.
I've
You
had
can
too
get a
much to
picture.
drink.
If Coca's here, by the way, a shout out to Coca, who handled you now for 127 minutes, which is pretty darn.
No, and I've been drinking.
Yes, you have. And I'm still in the same blazer from Nothing Personal this morning.
It's embarrassing.
8 a.m. Well,
It's
no, I've
embarrassing.
been on the air. It's opening day. It's one of the greatest days on the calendar. I get to wear my ring, and I get to show it on various channels from Chicago to Seattle. There it is. Look what Coca got you. That is the cruise ship where the home run sculpture used to be.
All right, David.
Are you
look,
kidding
listen,
me?
listen to me, David. This is
Tell
what
Valerie
I need.
hello. We got to
This
go.
no, this is what I need to do. Okay, this is what I need to do. Forgive me for doing it this way. It's clumsy and awkward. Okay, I want you, with whatever is remaining of our audience right here, to say and talk about all of the baseball things that you want to talk about because
I just
nothing
did.
personal. Hold on a second. There's got to be more. Nothing personal is as unusual and unique as a podcast in sports as I have found anywhere. What just happened everywhere in baseball? I've got to go because my wife has just emerged from the bath and I've spent 2 hours here too long. So
Is she wrinkly?
buddy,
It's
she's
a
never
long bath.
wrinkly. She's
That's a
never
long
wrinkly.
bath. Everybody gets wrinkly.
No. Listen to me.
What do I
Listen
know?
to me. I got to go.
I don't bathe
You don't bathe in bathtubs that are in hotels? I'm this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the stage here with our listeners who I love, who would gather with us tonight to talk all the baseball you want by yourself. But I'm going to go now because we will not do better than Giddy hitting a shot from half court while we're talking about all this nonsense. I love you. See you later.
See ya. Well, listen, everybody, thank you for doing this, but all the baseball talk you want, that's going to be at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Nothing Personal with David Samson. That's the YouTube channel. Thanks for doing this stuff because we're going to do more of it. Dan loves it. Everyone surrounding Meadowlark loves it, and we do not take your time for granted at all. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you very much.
Going to do my job. I'm going to call it like the hell I see it. And that's the way it has been. That is the way it is, and that is the way it is going to stay. Because bottom line, last point is this. The day he came up to me was the day my new contract was announced. So he knows, like everybody else, it's going to be a little while before I go away. I was here before he got here in 2003. And in all likelihood, I'm going to be here when he's gone. You got to deal with that, bro.